Hi, sir. Welcome to Chennai Times Chat. How have you been?
Good.
Okay, so I'll start with an extremely cliched question. Nenjam Marapathillai it's a new genre for you. So you've been experimenting with genres in the last few years. So in the Kadekana spark of Dina, what would you call it?
4 years later, I always want to experiment with the different genres. I don't believe in doing the same kind of films. It shouldn't be boring for me.
Okay.
So that time it started. That's what I said. It's 4 years before it started that way.
Okay.
Now the nervousness is same.
Okay.
Let's see.
Alright. So, so how has it been? So SJ Surya. So, I think you have worked with Dhanush by large, and then there was Karthi, and then Surya, of course, but it happened much later. So, how is it? Working with SJ Surya was also a director. So, how was it to get him to play the person that he has to on screen?
He's extremely sweet. He just been there as an actor. So nothing else. He's now beer he's also a director or anything like that. He surrendered himself as an actor. So there's nothing, no problem. He's just been there as an actor.
Was he your first choice?
Yeah.
And why was he your first choice? So there was something.
If you see the movie, you'd understand. Then you would come and tell me he's the perfect choice to play that kind of character. Not many can play that role.
Okay. And the movie is and it also has ensemble cast. There's Regina and Nandita. So how did they all come into the picture? Then
we all they've all been first choices.
Mm-hmm.
So we all worked hard, really hard for the film. We all take 60 days. We've been non-stop shooting day and night. It's yeah, let's see.
So, it's been 4 years. So, if you had to revisit those shooting days, what do you think was the most challenging part?
The waiting time now, this 4 years has been the most challenging part.
Okay.
Particularly, it's none of your fault,
Right.
So, the waiting time has been very cruel and very tough for us.
Okay.
Particularly for Regina. Because I think for Nandita and SJ Surya, they all done a phenomenal work. So to do all those and then made to wait, it's been tough. Me as a filmmaker, everybody wants to see the light of the view. It's been a tough time for all of us. Hope everything will be resolved and let's see the movie in theaters.
In fact, while you were speaking for NGK, you told me, when a movie gets stuck for no fault of yours, it's the most disappointing thing. So now that it's sorted, do you want to talk about it? What went wrong and what was and how did it get sorted?
See, all I can say is none of our fault. Okay. Again, insist it's none of our fault.
Okay.
I don't want to go into details. There's no point in talking about why it got stuck, and hope it's all been resolved, and hope it has it's released. Yeah, it's released. The fears are same and everything is the same, and so it's too late to talk about anything.
And this is a gothic horror, which is kind of new for Hollywood audiences who used to horror comedies and sentimental horror movies with revenge and all of that. So how do you think audience will look up to this film? Do you think they will be accepting of it, or do you have that inkling of doubt in the accept Pandavangla because you're used to horror comedies more than anything?
As you yourself said, it's a gothic horror. Gothic horror. I hope they find it something new.
Okay.
Rather than the horror or the. I was trying to think that what really horror is what really is there another life, or how would it be is definitely, I believe that if there is going to be any life, or whether it's horror or pure or anything, it should be a connection with God. Like some people have to go through it, some people don't have to go through it. Like so something like that. That my kind of vision. Like I want to see some people are like go through these kind of things, and I don't want to label it like a horror. Like you see the movie and really realize like it shouldn't be branded as a horror film, rather than it's a kind of experience.
Okay. And like I said, in the last few years, you've been experimenting with genres. So when you did an Irandam Ulagam, you had a certain kind of belief in how there could be a parallel universe that exists in the universe. And when you're doing a supernatural movie, horror, gothic, however you want to call it, what kind of belief do you have in the genre, in that subject? Do you have faith? As in, do you believe in the supernatural?
Sure. Filmmaker can't start a film and finish a film without a belief in it. You need to trust in that film and keep going with it. Like sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. But the filmmaker who is involved in the film should have a tremendous faith in what you're doing.
What was the starting point for the script? It must have been something that you read or something that inspired you, something that you watched.
I used to do a lot of novels and everything. Like,
okay.
So I never read horror novels, like, and I can't see a horror film. I'm very scared of it.
You're saying okay.
And my brother is a huge fan of horror films.
Okay.
And everything. Like so, like think of it like I thought I can make it, but I can't watch it.
So you've not watched this movie? I mean, you would have seen rushes, but have you seen like?
No, I've seen it and I've done it but I've seen it as a film rather than like at the moments which come, it's gonna like make you feel jump out and stuff. But for a filmmaker, it's because you picturized it.
Right. So you've never seen a horror film before this?
Yeah, I used to run away.
Okay. All right. So generally, whoever has done a supernatural movie or something, they would have.
Nobody goes through it. That's it. No, if we do a movie like To the Creator or something, we don't have to go through what we make.
True.
Yeah, so it is just kind of we imagine and we make it as simple as that.
Okay. So there are no jump scare incidents that happen while shooting. None of those things. Like generally, people say, "Oh, the place we shot was haunted." And the Madri. So there's nothing like that.
I think every place in the world is haunted. If you feel that is haunted, that every place is divine. If you feel it's divine.
Okay.
So it's a regular set. Like the actor won't feel anything like this house is haunted or anything.
Okay. So in the Minadi you had a release, like not trying, but of course in the Minadi you had a release. So NGK received a mixed response. There were people who loved it. There were people who didn't, love it that much. And there were some people at Pandit. So what do you think? After every movie is released, do you like go back and think maybe I would have done this better? Maybe I would have, in game we could have modified or something like that. Or was it because you were making a film for a star and, that kind of had an impact on your style of filmmaking?
See, every movie is an experience. Right? From the day one, it's been like that. Some movies we just different experiences. Like that's the movie we made. Like. So it was a tremendous learning experience for me, more than anything. So that's all I can say.
So you don't revisit a movie after you finish it?
No, I don't revisit it. Revisiting a movie is the most painful thing you could imagine for a filmmaker. It's the most painful. Whether it could have become a blockbuster or it could have become not doing well or anything, but revisiting is like living in the past. So it's not advisable. It's like you are living in the past, and then particularly for a filmmaker, trust me, the mistakes will haunt you forever if you keep thinking about it. Like you could have done. A filmmaker is the most unhappy soul in the world. Like, he is go on like saying like, say I could have done this better, I could have done this better, I could have gone wider, I could have gone closer. This picturization could have been well, or you have done this, but it's the most painful process. Right? So you finish a film and then you move ahead. Like it's a tough moving ahead. Also, it's a tough. So I think I gave you a correct answer.
Right. But you didn't move ahead, and now you're making Naane Varuven with Dhanush, which is like the most talked about film now.
It
So
is.
what's
You
the
need to, move ahead, and it's the thing very interesting. You can't keep on living with one film. It takes time. It'll be taking time. Move ahead and do. It's like life.
Mhm. So what is your next film with Dhanush all about? So what kind of genre is it? Cast is in place. I think Arvind Krishna, he's doing the cinematography. So what is the status of that film now?
Yeah, we're gonna go on floors in 2 months or something. So the pre-production is happening.
Okay.
So we're all working on the pre-production for the last few months, and now it's all like on the fast track.
Yeah. So is there anything at all you can say about the film, the genre? What is it? What kind of a movie can like people expect from the two of
See,
you?
I
Because
never
this is
said anything about any of my past films.
Okay.
Hope I do a good job in this film.
Okay.
Be interesting.
And Ayrathil Oruvan 2 is also one of the most, since the announcement, people have been talking about it. So that, of course, will take a lot of time in pre-production itself. But Adil, do you have plans of retaining some of your first movie or the cast or technicians?
Like to one by one, we want to announce, like, we want to announce about the prints.
Mm-hmm.
So we have one start, like when we discussed Article 2, more than for all of us, like it's for the fans, like who's been like, like always been asking like when it's going to be the 2. I just want to tell them like, see, it's in the pipeline and it's just Dhanush going to play it, and we would do it definitely in 2-3 years. Like it's not about the time we take. It's about the timelines we have, like for each of us to adopt our life to that film, that kind of film. It's going to be a tough film.
Okay.
It's more than us. It's for the fans.
Okay. But will it take off from where the first movie ended?
Yeah, I haven't answered the movie about what I'm going to do next. Now, answer about the movie about that. Let it be all a surprise. I have the script ready.
Okay.
And I want to polish it.
Okay.
And I want to suit it for the. It's been like prints. Now we know it's Dhanush is going to play it. Like, so let it take one thing at a time.
Okay.
And for us now, the most important thing is now we will.
Okay.
So because it's going to burn floors in 2 months.
Okay.
So we all going to get geared up and.
And it's going to be shot in Chennai or?
No, we got a shot in Chennai and around.
Okay. And in the year, we'll also see you turn actor. So with Sani Kaidam. So what made you?
Yeah, I have to go
take up,
5 days. Yeah.
So what made you take up that acting offer?
It is like the script was very interesting.
Okay.
I believe it's a phenomenal script, and when they asked me, I was very skeptical about it. But they convinced me. The director is very. I think he's a tremendous talent. So I like it, and it's very as simple as that. So I said simply want to do it. Yeah.
And what was the status? You finished it or?
No, we're gonna
start.
Yeah, they're gonna start in like 5 days.
Okay, in the next 5.
Yeah.
So, but that will also be just before your movie release.
They
So,
finished it before
Oh, okay. So, did you have to like prep for something for the role, or do you have to like mentally prepare yourself that you're not behind the camera but in front? And how was that process going to be like?
We shot for 2 days.
Okay.
So all I wanted to tell myself is just don't see where the camera is. Right? It's a basic thing, and so I have done it. I have acted behind the camera for so many years, but it's a difficult experience together as an actor. So I have to learn so many stuff for the 2 days.
Okay.
I'm more kind of person. I'd be thrilled to as long as there's been more to learn, and then I thought, okay, being an actor, I need to learn so much, because it's different when you tell people what you want and act behind the camera. Because every film I used to, perform, that's different, and now it's you yourself gonna do it. It's different actually. As long as there is something to learn, it's fantastic. That's how I would take it.
So will you empathize more with actors now?
Yeah, more. Yeah.
Okay. And you shot with Kirti Suresh in those few days, right? So how was she as an actress? She won the national award very
It's a
recently.
very limited experience we have. Before that, I've seen her work in Mahanati. So I really loved her work in Mahanati.
Okay.
So now we're gonna start filming more than how is she? I have to see what I am.
So will this be a one-off acting experience, or are you open to doing more movies?
I am open. As long as as I thought, I find it really, thrilling. To act behind the camera. It's been always I'm acting. So as more it comes, and provided the time adapts, time provides and anything. Why can't? I think every filmmaker is acting, not only here in Hollywood or anywhere. Quentin Tarantino comes and does something, everything. It's not about. I don't want to take it as an acting thing rather than I think it's nice. It's thrilling. It's like another thing to do. Rather than I don't want to brand it as an actor or something like that.
Okay. And sorry, now that you're talking about Hollywood, Dhanush is now doing a Hollywood film. He's already done a French movie before. So, when you work with him, will you be looking at him as a star actor, or is he like the Dhanush that you're used to working with, in so many movies in the past? And how do you think, as a
Dhanush is Dhanush to me.
How has he grown as an actor in the last few years? He's done some very phenomenal.
He does a lot of homework, and he does a lot of homework before taking a character and before going to the shoot. I've seen because it's different when you teach him and how it is should be completely how to stand and how to do all this stuff, rather than he takes it on his hand and does step by step, and now he does the preparations, and it's a long journey for him. Now we're talking about Dhanush, who's been a national winner and he's gone to Hollywood and everything. But when it comes to us, it's more than brothers working together. It's simple, and we just want to take it as simple as that.
And that's the same on the set also. So there is no director actor under that equation is there, or it's more like you said, brothers working.
It's not about brothers. He calls me sir, and I used to call him Dhanush. And once we go to the camera one day, what is that? That's simple as that. So we don't want to, add more to it. Okay. As long as it's simple and nice.
And another thing is, you work with both Dhanush and Surya, and on social media there is this fan war between the fans of these two actors. So since you worked with both of them, what do you think are the pluses and minuses of both these actors?
They both are great actors. Who am I to talk about plus and minuses of that?
What is it that you like about them?
Both are phenomenal actors. On its own way, their own ways. I really enjoyed working with both of them.
Okay.
I really had a great time working with Surya. So more than that, it's how we work together, and as simple as that.
And after the pandemic and after the lockdown, audience, we have a lot of world content is now easily accessible. OTT platforms have become more accessible. So, as a filmmaker, as a creative person, do you think that will, this easy access to content from other parts of the world, do you think that is going to affect the way filmmakers and other creative persons think now? Because
It is being accessed. They can access it before also. So nothing much changes. Like it's been lockdown, but it's a painful lockdown.
Okay.
So people have a lot of other things to worry about whether to be alive tomorrow or not, rather than watching it throughout the world. Like what is the real content about it?
Okay.
So we had a very fearful times.
Okay.
So now we just started where we left off.
Okay.
Still that threat is there.
Okay.
So that thing about whether they've seen a lot of content or OTT content
That is not
shouldn't
gonna-
matter.
But to get them to theater is going to be a difficult task, no? Because
Yeah, obviously
in the
everybody,
last
for
few
the thing now, like a few films released and they've come. And, so it's all been we're praying times that things will get all right and everything will be back to normal. It's still not.
Okay.
So it's all the same for us.
Okay. And what was the last 1 year like? Of course, you have like a very beautiful addition to your family, but did you work on something? Did you learn any new skill or need not be related to the movie
Nothing
industry?
like that. It's if you ask me, it's a very painful time. Every day you wake up and stare at the walls, and it's like for everyone. And you used to work for the last 25 years. I used to work every day. Or New Year or anything like that. It's for us. It's the sets are going to be the life and everything. And suddenly you're out for 9 months or I think so. You don't know what to do. You can come up with a new script and you can write. Then the question arises how long? Because the end is going to be here, there, and it took some time. In our lifetime, that pandemics, got struck.
Okay.
If for us, because we've seen Independence Day, that these films when you experience it in real life, it took us that itself took us 3-4 months. Go for shit. We are also got pandemic. What is it about and everything? I think for me, I'm one of the people. For our general population, also it took all of us time. But it was very painful experience watching it, and so many people died, whether it's going to be your turn next or you going to get it or something like that.
It's
so
constantly there.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. And so one last question. You have a lot of movies, you have a lot of scripts that were supposed to go on floors, but then you had to hold it back for some reason or the other. Top of the mind, I can think of Khan. So Adellam and Santanamodu Oru Padam, so Vandavan Vandanati. So what is the status of all of those movies? Will you make them? Will you adapt them?
For us, we take, you see, that's the problem with here when the movie gets shelved or something like that, the blame goes immediately to the filmmaker. Rather than, people don't analyze here what would have happened and everything. It goes straight to, what happened there. The question's been straightly thrown on his face, what happened? Why you shelved it? No, we don't shelve the film. There are countless people involved in the film and there are countless factors might go wrong. See, all we can do is one of the technicians working on the film. So if it happens, we all go and do it. If it doesn't happen, there are 1,000 reasons.
Okay.
Why it's not happened? Sometimes from the why it's been not released for 4 years. If you ask me, all I can say is it's not. But it's been so many times people ask us why don't you release the film? Why don't you release the film? It's the producer's part. I'm the director. Director makes a movie and visualizes it and makes it, and that's what his part ends. Why you didn't release the movie? It's not my job. Why you didn't resume the movie? No, it's not in my hand. Tomorrow if they call me, I'll go make the Mandavan. Tomorrow if they call me, I'll go make Khan. So you have to meet the actor and everything. So it's as if I haven't shelved the film. So you need to ask all the people sit together and you need to ask the same question, what happened?
Okay. Right. So thank you so much for
you,
your time.
you.
Thank you. All the best for the movie.
Thank you.
Can't wait to see it.
Yes.